Ladies and gents, what's happening? It's your boy Chris Penn, and I'm here to talk to you about what makes a good Call of Duty experience. Now, this ranges from multiple things, and it basically changes depending on who you ask. But I'm going to give you kind of an idea of what makes a good Call of Duty game, in my opinion, because a lot of people think they have a conceived notion of what makes a good game. You are at PANDA'S Podium. Let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to hammer down is that a lot of people buy these for the multiplayer experience. The multiplayer consists of consistent, challenging updates, good map selection, awesome guns, kill streaks or score streaks, whatever it may be. And all these components are one major key points of the game. But then there are other people who will buy it based off of the campaign alone. Because of that, you have two dividing sides. Now, the multiplayer side usually outweighs the campaign, and maybe even people who play Black Ops, for example, will play the zombies mode. They will play that game just to play campaign and zombies, never touch multiplayer. But somebody may want to play everything as they feel like they want to spend the money, they want to get the best complete package that they can. So, how do you know what makes a good Call of Duty game? Because with Modern Warfare's release, I've played so much time into this game that I've gotten more and more on the fence about what makes a good Call of Duty game. At first, people were saying it's bad, then it was the game's good, then it's back to the game's bad, and it's back to the game's good. So a lot of people just have a lot of opinions about the game. So I think the overall game package is very important. I think it's very pivotal because that's how you get a base consumer to say, oh, this game has these many features and these many perks compared to other games of similar quality. That's why I should buy it. While another person would look at that and say, well, I only care about one focal point. So you have to hit that market so that you can make the sales. It's not personally for me. Sometimes I'll play campaign depending on the game. Modern Warfare, I think I've played a few campaign missions, haven't really dived into anything else. Co-op, I haven't touched once. Multiplayer, I'm closing in on 4 days total time played so far. Like, goddamn, that's a lot of time. So, where does that leave it? You have your campaign experience. The campaigns have, how do I put this? They haven't been great. So, with Call of Duty 4, you had a campaign experience that was groundbreaking, revolutionary. Then you had Black Ops 1, which was kind of fun, not too much better. You then had Modern Warfare 2, which essentially improved on everything that Modern Warfare 1's campaign was. It had some very memorable moments, and it was like playing a big action movie. Black Ops 2 was very similar, but it gave a little bit more choice. And then they continuously just decided to make these are like big action set pieces. Maybe have a few dramatic choices here and there. You could really see them start to fail with Call of Duty Ghosts. It started to take a downturn. Apparently, Infinite Warfare had a fantastic single-player campaign, but most people were stuck on the game overall that they didn't want to play it. They didn't want to play the futuristic shooter anymore. They were sick of it. Advanced Warfare's campaign was good, and people remember that at the time, but nobody ever speaks on it again. So, the campaign experience is just a small facet of an overall game experience, right? But then there is the extra content where it's like you have your co-ops experience, you have your spec ops, you have your zombies, you have your hidden stuff like the Black Ops 1 hidden things. And that was one of the biggest things, is that you had a game inside of another game. Once zombies like really took off on World at War and continuously got better and improved further and further with each Treyarch title, more and more people really enjoyed those experiences, and they really wanted to make those a priority when developing the game. That's why when Black Ops 3 came out, it was campaign, multiplayer, zombies. It was a big thing that they toted. And then Black Ops 4, they just got rid of campaign, apparently because they didn't have enough time to properly make it. But when they made Black Ops 3, it was a huge thing. It was one of their major selling points. So much so that when they released it on 360 and PS3, the disc didn't have campaign. The game didn't come with it. It was too big. because they were focusing on making this trifecta of a big experience that could please everybody. And it sold relatively well, and it was a pretty fun game overall. Then you have your multiplayer, which is by and large probably the most popular thing that people look for when playing Call of Duty. Now, what makes a multiplayer experience good is very judgmental on the player itself. There are people who are really into the boots to the ground experience, and they love the old school Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3, Black Ops 1, World at War, Black Ops 2 experience. And there are people who really like the jetpack stuff like Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3. They really enjoy those titles. But with Infinite Warfare, you started to get a sense of these games aren't good. Not in the sense that Infinite Warfare is a bad game, because if you look at it by and large, it's not a bad made game. It's just a game people didn't want to play. Honestly, when I went back to play it, the game had a lot of cool ideas. The futuristic tone and setting was really interesting. It was just the fact that it was in the future with all the jetpack stuff. Nobody wants to keep doing that. It became more of a nuisance, and I realized, oh yeah, I like boots to the ground because this is not the type of experience that this should be built for. When you play Halo and people jump around in Halo, their armor makes it so that no matter how many shots go off, you're going to have to waste a little bit of ammunition to try and get that kill. Call of Duty, people still die relatively quickly, and the jumping around just makes them harder to hit, and it makes you a better shooter, but it's more of an annoyance. Like, some people enjoy that experience, but the large majority didn't. That's why they went back to the World War II aesthetic around the time Battlefield 1 came out, and it was a boots to the ground experience. Granted, that game wasn't great when it came out. It was very dull, very bland, but they slowly revitalized everything in the game, and the experience became much better towards the tail end of the life cycle of that Call of Duty experience. Now, that's just a small thing. The movement is a small component of what makes a good Call of Duty game, because Black Ops 3 is still one of the better Call of Duty games. But you know what made that game fantastic? Where some of the maps were really good, the guns were really interesting, and the kill and score streaks were also extremely fun. You want to incentivize people to continue to play, to do cool stuff. You know what? It's my show. To do cool shit. You want them to do really cool shit. And if you're playing Black Ops 3, nothing is more fun than getting a hater and wraps and drones and just letting them cycle. Some people aren't going to be able to do it, and some people love the thrill of getting multiple kill streaks really quickly. So, like, I remember in Black Ops 2, I used to run UAV, hunter killer drone, counter UAV. It's not hard to get, but if you're playing and you're pretty consistent, you can wrap those kill streaks consistently. They help the team, they help your score, and you're constantly throwing something that's going to kill somebody usually. It's a fun dynamic because it makes you play how you want to play. Getting a nuke was an amazing feat that it felt like it was going away. You know, people were working really hard to get that. And the maps in all the games play a big part. They're like the toppings to your ice cream, to say the least. If the guns and the kill and score streaks are like, you know, here's the game. The maps, guns, and kills and score streaks are the toppings to the ice cream that is Call of Duty overall. You're basically getting sprinkles with guns, you're getting like your nuts with the kills and the score streaks, and you're getting like hot fudge with the maps. It's a weird analogy, but it's how you perceive that. It's where you're having a good chunk of things spread out across your experience with the gameplay. It's experiencing how much of it you want to enjoy. And there are memorable maps across every experience. You know, it's just some games have them better than others, which is a problem that was popping up in the early life cycle of Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was having an issue where maps were too campy. There were too many people planting claymores and drone mines or whatever the hell they're called. It became an annoyance because that's the way that the game set it up. They wanted you to play a little bit slower, and it felt like they were punishing the people who were going too fast. This is probably the second or third month in, and the game has received noticeable patches to allow players to freely move a bit more. to give them a bigger range and array of play styles. That's what's helping the game. The gunplay feels really good. There's a wide variety of guns, free content, free map updates, tons of things that are cross-play. You know what I'm saying? There's so many good things with this Call of Duty experience. But there is always one negative. And that is that some of the maps aren't as good as some of the other ones. And it really goes to show when you play Vacant and then you have to go and play like Euphrates Bridge. I don't have a problem with Euphrates Bridge, but I know a lot of people who do. But overall, which one of these key components is making a good Call of Duty game? I'd like to say that none of those key components are making a good Call of Duty game. A lot of that is incentivizing you to make a good Call of Duty game. But what if I told you that your overall experience depends on your fun? And sometimes it's playability with friends. For me, that's one of my core components. I played World War II predominantly with one of my friends, Big Cheese. I didn't play it with any of my local friends, and I had fun whenever we played, but every time I played by myself, I had a horrible experience. And it just wasn't fun, wasn't entertaining. I didn't like grinding. Black Ops 3, I had a really good time playing. Black Ops 2, I had a really good time playing. Even Ghost. I played all these games with friends. Infinite Warfare, I didn't play with a single soul. And that game, I just hit level 55 2 or 3 years after the game's release. That game is not enjoyable because of the experience that I had with others. It really goes to show that the people around you can affect your influence on the game that you play. And that goes for anything, not just Call of Duty. It could be Forza, it could be WWE, it could be Madden, NBA, NHL, FIFA, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, you damn well name it. Any experience that involves another person or two in a circle of people that you may know can affect your experience. And that means a lot coming from a person who has literally enjoyed tons of time playing with others and by himself in video game experience. So you really have to ask yourself, is the latest Call of Duty really that bad? Or is it because the people around you make you think it's that bad? That pretty much wraps up my time today on PANDA'S Podium. I want to thank you all for taking your time to listen to this first episode. It is a short form show. Each episode is going to kind of roughly be around this length anyway. If you like what you heard, like what you see, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you're being up to date whenever a new video goes live. And of course, share your comments. Say if there's anything else you think that makes a good Call of Duty game. Tell us what you think makes a good Call of Duty. Tell us what your favorite Call of Duty game is. Let us know. My name is Chris Panda from SFXX Play, and I will catch you on the next one. Deuces.